What's up, YouTube fans? Today I want to take a look at the Hasbro Transformers Age of the Primes Trypticon. So this is pretty much a straight repaint of the Titans Return Trypticon. And that came out a while back. I actually never did a review of it. I did an unboxing, but I never did a review just because it was such an older figure when I got it. And now they've repainted it, and there's a little bit of paint. It's mostly like colored plastic, but I decided since it's a new release in terms of colors, I might as well take a look at it. Thanks to Dr. Diecast and Agabyss, who sent this my way, and going to be shipping this on to Dr. Diecast after the review is done. I do have the original to bring in and compare, so I will do that a little bit later. First, let's take a look around. This guy is really big. It's just really the length from head to tail. So it's tough to fit in my review area. So I've had to kind of modify things. I actually moved my lighting around, and actually it helped a lot. So I might just leave it this way just because it's a little bit better. But I did also get rid of the background just so you could see things. But here's the figure. They've changed the gray into this black color and then a more teal green. And then the purple is kind of a lighter purple. There are some areas of paint on here, so I'm going to point them out. I did notice on the original there is paint as well, so it's not like it was completely unpainted. I'll bring that in later so you can see, but let's go over where there is indeed paint. So you have silver paint right here. You have a little bit of silver here in the mouth for the guns, and also this pop-up gun, which I'll show you a little bit later. You've got purple paint right here on the knee. A little bit of teal paint right here, teal paint right here, and then silverish white on the toes. Back here you have that same silverish paint on the spikes or the spine. And that's really about it. There's not all that much paint on it. Alright, so starting up on the head, we have that nice orange plastic. On the back of the head, there is some purple paint right there for these boosters. If you look on the back of the head, there is a button right here, and that's actually for the headmaster. It's a little gimmick there, so when you press that button, it pops up the gun. This is painted in a silverish white color. Inside the mouth, you'll see there's that silver paint on this gun as well. And there is a little place you can drop things inside. It'll actually go into his belly. You can take it out of there. If you want him to eat, other Titan Masters, you can. You got translucent orange for the eyes. You do have these guns here which can extend. They can also go up and down. The head itself can go up and down on a ratchet. Goes up to there. Down to there. Lots of nice sculpted detail on here. Here's the paint I was talking about on the back. A little bit of teal paint right there. Translucent orange with some silver underneath it. Purple paint there. A little more teal, and then this silver here on the front. All right, let's go over the rest of the articulation. We already went over the guns and the head here. So the arms can rotate around. They can fold out. It's on a panel, so this panel's supposed to tab in here. It's kind of loosely tabbed. So if you go past the point, it will pop that panel up. But it does go out to the side. You have an elbow bend here, gets you to 90 degrees. Wrist hinge here. And then the claws on the top and bottom can open up to there and close down up to there. For the legs, you have a ratcheted tilt. Goes all the way forward, all the way back. There's a ratcheted hinge in and out, and there's a tilt hinge here. So you get some nice movement on those legs. I almost lost them. And I like that they worked that in. By the way, a question has been asked multiple times. Did they fix the issue with this front panel tabbing in? Not really. I mean, it does tab in, but it's still a little bit on the loose side. I know there's people who were asking if they fixed that, and honestly, it feels about the same to me, at least on my copy anyway. Feels about the same. Anyway, continuing down, we have a knee bend here on a ratchet, ankle tilts, and that's about it for articulation. There isn't really anything on the tail. You can kind of reconfigure the tail if you want. Let me just get him back into his standing pose. You can extend the tail back like this if you wanted to take up even more space, but it already is very, very heavy on the space. So you end up trying to collapse it down as much as possible back here. All right, let's take a look at Full Tilt here, who is on the chest. And in order to get him out, you're just going to lift up on this, flip forward this little panel here. This will lift up and out. It's just tabbed in right here and back here. All right, and here's Full Tilt separated from Trypticon. And it is the same as the original, but it has a little bit of paint on this gun. You got purple paint with silver there. Silver for the wheels. And here's the original, just so you can see the difference. I do like the purple on this one, but it's nice that they painted the wheels and the gun. The original gun is just black plastic. Here's the back. And we can, of course, open up his canopy here to reveal the Titan Master, or Headmaster. And he's got a little bit of paint, a teeny tiny amount of paint, just a little purple on the face. You got gray plastic there, and the rest is that lighter purple. The head on the back. Now, this thing is kind of loose. The arms are on a ball joint, so they rotate forward and backward. This arm just falls off, and I don't know if that's a results may vary thing or my copy, but this is like very loose. Legs can bend forward on the hinge, and then the knees can bend. To sit him in the car, you just fold the legs straight. But if you put him into head mode, you can pop him into that spot I showed you earlier behind Trypticon's head to power up the gun. That's why I showed it to you then, is so you could see that. You can also sit him in there. I'll show you that when we get to the spaceship mode. But he can sit right here. Actually, let's get him transformed, since we're going to transform this guy anyways. So we're going to rotate here. And then we're going to rotate the head so it's back like this. And then set that aside. It does have some nice red for the eyes there. For this guy, you can unpeg the gun. We can come to the bottom here. We're going to open up these tabs. Flip this open. Fold down the legs. Then we can unpeg the arms, and these ball joints are also loose. I find a lot of the plastic on this Titan Master, or this figure, is actually kind of loose. But fold out the hands. Go to the top here. We're going to take this panel. This is going to fold back. This will fold back and just sit on the backpack like this. Come to the front. Actually, I would close up these panels on the back of the legs. Fold up the crotch plate there. And then you're going to grab the Headmaster here and plug him in right here. It is a tight fit, but it does go in there. And then finally we can give him his gun. And it is really loose in the legs. So this joint right here is extremely loose. The knee is a little bit loose. I would have to imagine mold degradation is definitely playing a part here in this guy. But let's go over the articulation while we're here. Head is on that Headmaster thing. It does get a little bit of forward and backward and rotates around. Shoulders are on a ball joint like I showed you. They do tend to pop off if you push it too much. Shoulders going to lift up to there. Rotation at the bicep. 90-degree bend at the elbow. Nothing at the wrist. Nothing at the waist. Legs kick up to there, back to there, up to the side, 90-degree bend at the knee, nothing at the feet. Not having feet definitely hinders this guy a lot, because try to put his leg out to the side, he just can't stand. All right, and here is the original Full Tilt next to the new one, and this is what I meant earlier. He lost a little bit of paint, so instead of having the silver paint on the chest, he just has that pink plastic. but the gun is now painted on this one. So there's a little extra paint and there's a little bit of loss of paint. It's kind of interesting. The head as well, there's a silver paint on the head crest, whereas this one doesn't have that silver paint. But then we saw earlier the tires are painted silver, which I like. So it's kind of like they traded off some paint, not that they added paint. All right, and for comparison, there it is next to the original Titan's Return version of Trypticon. And now you can see the color differences pretty clearly. So all of the gray plastic has been changed to black plastic. The purple has been changed to this more pastel colored purple. And then the green is now teal over here. The silver paint on the nose gun and the toes is now this pearlescent white paint on the new one. And as far as paint differences, it is very, very close. There's not all that much more paint on the new one. But I will point out, if you come to the side here, on the new one, you've got the teal paint back here on this piece right here, and then you've got teal paint on this piece right here. But that's really it. That's the only difference. You still have paint up here on the spikes. You got paint here for purple paint for the toes. The guns are unpainted on this one, so that's a little difference there. But for the most part, it's very close. Oh, and there's purple paint here as well on this upper shoulder area. So there are some places where there's actually more paint on the original where there isn't on the new one. So it kind of breaks even. You kind of end up swapping paint in terms of the amount of paint. And for a size comparison, there it is next to the Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime. And this is back in the day when Voyagers were actually Voyagers, but it does tower over Optimus. So nice big Titan class size. The length of it also really, it does feel like a Titan at this scale. All right, now let's get this guy transformed into his spaceship mode. And it actually makes more sense to go from Dino to spaceship to base. In the instructions, for whatever reason, they start in spaceship, go to Dino, and then switch back to base mode. And it doesn't actually make sense to do that. So I'm going to go in this direction. So go ahead and take the arms. You can fold them back. Come to the side here and show you there's a tab right here, slot right there. So get that tabbed in. Fold the hand up, and that's just going to sit right there. We can fold these guns upwards so they're straight up. And then go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Get this tabbed in. Fold up the hand. That's ready to go. For the head, you're going to take this, close up the mouth if it isn't closed up already. Fold the head all the way back until it sits right there underneath that little piece. Next, we can take the neck. We're going to rotate the neck 180 degrees so it faces backwards like this. And now we can take care of the legs. So we're going to fold up this panel right here that has the arm on it. It's going to sit right there on the other side. Then we're going to take care of this. So this is going to hinge up to here. You have to release it by clicking that button right here. So go ahead and click that button. That'll release the leg. And then you're going to fold this up and rotate it down. This will clip into here. You can close up this right here for now. And then you're going to fold up the toe. Come to here, you can press this button and rotate this down. There's a little clip right here on the inside of his leg. It's going to go into a slot right here. So you do have to bend the knee. Just one bend, one click will do it. Just going to sit down flat here. You're going to open this up for the wing. And then you're going to rotate the gun forward. Oh, and one more piece. You're going to take this and flip this down. So that's one side done. Go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to do it off camera, and we'll be right back. All right, there's Trypticon in spaceship mode. And it looks pretty cool. I will admit, this mode has way more paint than the old one just because of this huge area of teal paint. And they've actually painted off, or not painted, but filled in with solid plastic here. This teal. This was translucent plastic. Now it's this teal color. Actually, I'm having trouble telling if it's translucent plastic or solid, but either way, they've painted the whole thing. It does change the look of him without that translucent. You do have a gun up here on the front nose cone. You can articulate that up and down. It does look like eyes right here on the tail. That's kind of cool. It does roll because there's wheels down here. So you can roll it back and forth on the wheels. There's two on the back as well. You can lift these up. You can extend these if you want. There's a gun. You do still have the full tilt mounting piece if you want. You could put them here, you could put them on the ram, or you can just put them back where he was stored before. Just make sure you get that tab in and then fold that up. You can sit right there with this gun on top. So yeah, it's a pretty cool little spaceship mode. On the back here, we do have this piece, and we can open this up using the headmaster. It's actually meant to have the head sit down in there as the gimmick. And I want to show this because I don't remember seeing this anywhere, but you can take the headmaster and open up his feet and kind of bend the toes down a little bit. And you can sit him right here, and now he can pretend like he's manning this little battle station or whatever and firing this gun here on the back. So, alright, now let's get Trypticon into his base mode. So in order to do that, we will close up that wing. Gonna come to the bottom here, and we have to open up this leg. And this leg is actually two pieces. If you don't know, it splits right here in the middle. So get that opened up. And we're going to take this and rotate this out to the side. And basically get that, there's a little stand right here underneath. And you can kind of angle it however you want. You're going to take this ramp and fold that down. So that's one side. Go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Alright, next we'll take care of this tower section here. So go ahead and rotate these up. And we'll lift up on these cannons. And then you can bring this up. Just rotate that straight up. On the front of the vehicle, we're going to, and I'm out of space here in my review, but this is going to fold forward. By the way, this is painted on the original and on the new one. Black paint here. And just fold that down, that ramp. Alright, there is Trypticon in base mode. And I can't even fit the whole thing in frame. It's really a giant base mode. Not only width-wise, but also length-wise. It's really quite big. Let's do some measurement just so you can get a sense of the size. From front to back, 32 inches. And then from side to side, this is a rough, but another 32 inches. Height-wise, not that tall, but goes up to about 15 and a half inches. So here it is with the Studio Series 86 Prime. Just so you can get a sense of the scale. It does work well with chug scale figures. And before we get out of base mode, one thing I forgot to show, there's a little gimmick here. You can open this up and you get a little storage space for a figure. You could take full tilt here if you want and put them in there. Not a feature I think most people would use, but you can put something in there and store it away if you want. So final recommendations on the Hasbro Transformers Age of the Primes Trypticon. This is a pretty good figure, just like the original. I'm going to give it a 4 to 5. I'm going to recommend it. I really like the Dino mode the best, obviously. The base mode is cool. It's just impractical. It's just too big. And the spaceship mode, which nobody's ever going to use, is fine. It works okay. But I think the real question is it worth the upgrade? So if you have the original, then the question comes down to, do you like this color scheme? Because there really are no changes across this figure. pretty much everything, even down to tolerances and, you know, issues with the original. This one still has it. I actually was transferring it back to Dino mode, and this panel fell off a few times, so it's not any tighter than the original. And all the joints, everything feels about the same between the two. So there's nothing here that's a quote-unquote upgrade. So it really comes down to colors. Even the paint, right? There's not any additional paint. There's maybe a little more paint in certain spots, but then the original has more paint in other spots. So it evens out. So the question comes, you know, do you prefer this cartoon accurate color scheme? And I do think it is more cartoon accurate. For me personally, though, it's not really worth it. I actually like the original colors. I like the color scheme overall, especially the purple. So I'll be keeping that one. But if you do like this over it, then maybe it's worth it. But as far as upgrades, it's the same. So thanks to Dr. Diecast for sending this review. Thanks to Agabyss for shipping this out to me on behalf of Dr. Diecast. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.